So one of the often used phrases, maybe cliches in the AI discussions is human in the loop. That the machine will not take away human judgments. We have humans in the loop. What does that actually mean for you? What does human in the loop mean in the contact center experience? And what's maybe a good way to think about it and what's a bad way to think about it?
Yeah, so human in the loop, we firmly believe in it. We think it's a good thing majority of the time if you can provide a seamless journey to the consumer. The good thing is, hey, I try to go through a digital experience. Let's just go through, I'm trying to rebook my flight. We were talking about that earlier. And I'm talking to going through the website, going through a digital experience, whether it's a chatbot, whether it's a drop-down experience or click experience, I'm going through it. And I've got to the last stage where I am able to move my flight to the next day. But before I do that, because there's a $200 extra charge for it because of the flight difference, I need to input my credit card information, and the authentication fails for some reason. Okay, there you say, hey, we still want to hold this because I know how important it is for your flight to get your flight next day. So we're holding this, and I'm connecting with the human that's going to get this done soon for you. And you transfer the call where the human picks up the phone and say, Mr. Carsten, guess what? I got all your information right here. The flight is ready to be booked for you for tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. out of SFO. Let's execute on this. Just give me confirm your last 4 digits of your credit card information that we have on file. Are you okay with us charging it here? Perfect. You're done, sir. Thank you very much. Right? That is a seamless, powerful experience for the consumer. And in fact, a lot of consumers will be pleasantly surprised. They'd be like, wow, okay, you know what? I actually enjoyed being on that call than talking to a human because that was instant value. Where it doesn't work is the same agent picked up the phone and say, hey, Mr. Carsten, great to hear from you. How can I help you today? And you're like, wait, I just went through this. I almost booked my flight. I gave a bunch of information. I did this for a few minutes. And now you ask me, how can I help you? Like, hey, man, I'm trying to get on this flight tomorrow. And I got to jump off this call in 2 minutes. I got a work call happening. That I'm leading, so I don't have time here. It's like, just give me a few minutes. Let me look up. And I'm going through, whatever dashboards I have and looking at different files. Okay, so are you talking about this flight that you want to reschedule tomorrow? And now you're pissed. You're like, what the hell is going on? That's where human in the loop does not work. Okay, and then the places where human in the loop also works is when it is, again, high stake, high value use cases, and this has a lot of eyeballs, even at the executive level, where it's really critical to get to the next phase after you find out the intent and find out some information through a digital experience, where it's a requirement, it's mandatory that you may need a human to maybe read a policy out loud or confirm certain things before you go into moving your money from bank A to bank B, right? Or adding someone in your life insurance policy, right? There may be some auditable, mandatory requirement that a human needs to read something out to you. So there, you may have to bring the human in the loop. And it's good because, the humans' roles are changing, and it should, because, you've seen how powerful agentic solutions are. So why have the human do something that an agentic solution can do? At the same time, now these humans can focus on some of these high-value use cases. And instead of them doing mundane work, that they're just repetitive, laborsome work, they can now think in a different way, more strategically, more empathetically, more consciously, to be able to provide world-class experience. So it elevates the human to do a different kind of work than the day-to-day mundane work they were doing before, which can be handled by agentic solutions.
I'm curious where you see the greatest return on investment for AI in the contact center and customer service experience. I'm sure you have these conversations with clients all the time around the the return of investment and maybe also encounter the occasional misperception. Where do you think, do your clients overestimate the role of AI, and where do they underestimate the role of AI?
So, that's a great question. And I would say, it's across the board. But if you have to generalize it, people are still figuring it out. Okay? There's some people who've done tremendously well with ROI. Some people, they've spent a ton of money, but it's not clear how much ROI they've got. And there are a lot in that bucket as well. They spend a lot of money and they don't know exactly what type of ROI they've received. But people are still trying to figure out. And what I'm seeing happen in the market now is a few things that are clear for me. Number one, customers, especially the type of customers we work with, larger enterprise customers, I think the days of doing long-term pilots or spending a lot of money upfront is being pulled back because they haven't seen the type of ROI they envisioned, or it was hard for them to figure out what are the right metrics, because it's a new thing, building an agentic experience. It's still fairly new, and there were some. Everyone knows AI is here to stay. It's phenomenal, but implementing it is not easy. And these people have gone into deep waters and made these types of investments. And a year later, they're like, wait, we still haven't gone live, or we still haven't implemented, or we've done a use case, but it's not providing a pleasant customer experience. They're running into issues. So what I'm seeing now is they're taking a step back and saying, guys, let's not go and do 1 year, 2 year projects. Let's go short-term POCs and pilots, 30 days, 60 days. Can you, and let's figure out what are the right. So it's coming down, which is great, right? Because you don't want to go just build an agentic solution just to build an agentic solution. You want to focus on the pain point. You want to then understand what the right use cases are. And then from there, go build a solution that tackles that use case, and then do it step by step and then build on it. So a lot of the customers I'm seeing are going down that path now, which wasn't the case, I would say, a year ago or 2 years ago. And a lot of that is because they've had a ton of good learnings. Some of those learnings are coming from success, but a lot of it is coming from failures. And it's still a step in the right direction. Because we live in a world that we appreciate failures, because if you fail and you learn, that's a win. So they are starting to behave in that manner where they've said, hey, you know what, I tried this. Yes, I spent a lot of money. I didn't get the ROI. I've learned some things from it. Let me go try this use case, but let me put a shorter windows, 30-day, but hyper focus on it. Put a team behind it. Let's not let's drag this out. See what kind of results can we get, and let's do multiple of these POCs. With Zingtree, maybe even multiple vendors, and let's see who's providing me a solution. And the solution is not just the tech; it's the people who are involved, how they work with you within a short period. So you learn a lot in that experience, and see, okay, is this the partner I want to go do more use cases with? Did they give me the right results? Did they knock it out in 30 days? So you see that a lot in that short window, when you kind of constrain it to that timeline. And we're seeing that changing and that happening more as we're talking to customers.
Great. Maybe just last question, getting us back to the beginning when you talked about world-class customer experience. So if you had to summarize in one sentence, what would a genuinely transformative customer experience look like?
2 things I'll tell you. One is you started with saying, you wanted to rebook a flight. Imagine you just say that just to the brand that you work with, and they do all the work on the back end, and they give you your number one best option. They may give you 3 options, and all you have to say, option 2. That's it, and it's done. So you don't have to text, you don't have to chat. You use your voice like you're, talking to your phone, to the brand, and say, hey, I don't like the flight I'm on. Can you look at options for me for tomorrow? And the work is done. That is where we're heading. That is the future of customer experience. Basically no interactions. You just say what you want. You have something in your mind and you say it, and it gets resolved. Right? That is where we're heading, and I see that happening. The building blocks are there. So that's number one. The number two is you talked about ROI. Like, what is the ROI? Yes, you can track ROI for the customer experience through revenue opportunities, upsell opportunities, cost reductions. There's a huge opportunity in our space to get ROI from your brand being known as the best customer experience company in the world. Because when you provide that type of experience, your brand recognition, the value your brand can get is the North Star. So what I mean by that is, if let's take one of our customers is Shark Ninja. Okay, they provide home appliances, smoothie machines, vacuum cleaners. You have an issue with your vacuum cleaner. You say, hey, my vacuum cleaner is not working. They take care of it for you from there. Okay, where you are wowed by it. You as a consumer will put Shark Ninja up here, where every time you're looking at a home appliance, the first thing that comes to you is that experience they gave you, where they solved your issue. And it's such a seamless journey. And that value is going to be the North Star for the future, because there's a lot of room for improvement there. So the companies that take that type of mindset can benefit for the next, for the future. So I think those two things are going to happen. The customer experience being so seamless and amazing. And number two, the brands have an opportunity to stand out, to raise the bar, where they can be, seen as providing world-class experience, and therefore their business benefits tremendously and their brand recognition goes up.
Juan, thank you so much for our time, and thank you for making all of our contact center experiences a little more delightful and less painful.